tells me that goose-stepping morons like yourself should try reading books instead of burning them.
Before we talk about Disney putting Mickey Mouse's head under the mousetrap of woke, I want to go ahead and give you guys a bit of a preview on this video. We are going to be going back a little bit in the past of how we got here. I'm going to be talking about how big Disney has gotten. Of course, we're going to talk about things that Christopher Rufo uncovered. Don't worry, those clips exist. And, of course, I'm going to be putting them in here. Of course, I had to edit them down to get the key points. And don't worry, we'll be reacting and responding to them. But I also want to talk about the implications of what's going to eventually happen and exactly where Disney is going at and why it is that it's absolutely doomed to fail. You see, I'm a glass half full guy. Okay, I know a lot of people think, wow, dude, you're so negative sometimes. Well, there's a reason why I'm negative sometimes, because sometimes I try to be negative to try to then create a positive. I try to look at the silver linings. I try to look at the things that are going to happen. And quite frankly, we're going to discuss that in this video. So make sure you guys stick around for the full video. I'll be discussing that last portion that I said towards the end of the video. But let's go ahead and give a little bit of a retrospect, a little bit of a rewind of what's been going on here. So many of you guys know about the parental rights bill in Florida. The idea, of course, as we have recently discovered, was for Ron DeSantis, this entire thing was a political ploy to trigger the left so that way their true intentions would actually be brought to light. And as you guys know, we're already seeing this. We've got teachers out there complaining, saying we want to be able to share our experiences with our gay lovers to our kids. We need to have open discussion with our 5-year-old students. By the way, I've already made my feelings known on this. I don't think that anybody should be discussing anything they do with somebody else off work with a bunch of kindergartners because they're kids. And I understand that the LGBTQ curriculum may not actually be involved there, but of course, as you guys saw in the, I can't say the actual word, but the BCs, you just put that G word in front. I got to word it differently for the algorithm or else they'll stymie this video. And obviously, I want this video to take off because I do want this channel to grow. I do want to get to 1,000 subscribers for the end of the year. So in order to do that, right there, the channel, the videos have got to take off. They got to actually get promoted. But the thing is this right here. We've already heard all the stories. We've already heard all the complaints from the teachers. And don't worry, we'll get back to them. But as I've said before, 5- and 6-year-olds do not need to be exposed to this. They don't even need to be exposed to it from straight people. You see, little Tommy does not need to be knowing about what 28-year-old Eric and Sue are doing on the weekend. Okay, he doesn't need to be knowing about it. Little Tommy does not need to be knowing about what Derek and Larry are doing on the weekend. He doesn't need to be hearing about that. Okay, he doesn't need to be hearing about that at all. Okay, maybe when they get to middle school, can you be a little bit more interpersonal with students? But even that right there is a bit too, even that right there comes with some form of boundaries. And that right there is where we're going at with this video. You see, when we gave the left gay marriage, the Supreme Court did in 2013, me personally, I was not in favor at that time. Still am not. My feeling is this right here. What you do in New York can be different than what we do in North Carolina. What you do in California should not affect what happens in Florida. It should not affect what happens in Texas. There's a reason why we are states. We are the United States of America, and we have a 9th and 10th Amendment for a reason. 3% of how people feel, which, by the way, it's all the LGBT community is, about 3 to 6% of the country, should not be dictating what the other 90-some-odd% do with their lives. Okay, and you're already seeing this in some of these polls that even Florida Democrats are not okay with this. They are starting to wake up to the reality that we allowed this community too much levity. By the way, I got nothing against anybody who's LGBTQ. I got something against these people who are trying to actually indoctrinate our kids. You see, like I said, it started with gay marriage. It went from gay marriage. It went from there to adoption to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all the way down the line to 150,000 different forms of queer that came up with every 2 seconds of every day. And then, of course, we get to this point right here where now they're actually trying to indoctrinate our kids, as I got to remind you guys.
We should be able to have discussions, and that's what we're encouraged to do in kindergarten. And then personally, because, my kids do have questions. They want to know who my partner is in pictures outside of my classroom, and I should be able to speak to that.
So do you worry that you won't even be able to talk about your own personal
relationships with our kids? And in order to build relationships, you talk about your home life. You talk about what you do on the weekends. That's building community. It scares me to death that I am not going to be able to have these conversations with my children because they're going to ask me what I did on the weekend. I don't want to have to hide that my partner and I went paddleboard.
Once again, this is uncalled for. Once again, these teachers need to be fired who are trying to indoctrinate our kids. Okay, that right there is the premise. That's exactly what the hell's been going on here. And of course, it was Christopher Rufo, the CRT guy, who sent out this tweet to talk about these, trying to expose exactly what was going on in these meetings. Now, guys, I had to actually edit these clips so that way they wouldn't be too long to make this video an hour long, because there's a lot we could dive into, but I'm trying to squeeze it into 15. But let's go ahead and watch these, and let's just kind of go ahead and make our own judgment post this.
Queer children, actually, one transgender child, and one pansexual child, and also as a leader, not just for myself but for them, to all of us. We had an open forum last week at 20th where, again, the home of really incredible, groundbreaking LGBTQIA stories over the years, where one of our execs stood up and said, we only have a handful of queer leads in our content. And I went, what? That can't be true. And I realized, oh, it actually is true. We have many, many, many LGBTQIA characters in our stories. And
all of the gendered greetings in relationship to our life skills. So we no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've provided training for all of our cast members in relationship to that. So now they know it's hello everyone or hello friends. We are in the process of changing over those recorded. No longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We say dreamers of all ages. And so I love the fact that it's opened up the creativity, the opportunity for our cast members to look at that. We have our cast members working with merchandise, working with food and beverage, working with all of our guest facing areas where perhaps, we want to create that magical moment with our cast members, with our guests. And we don't want to just assume because someone might be in our interpretation, maybe presenting as female, that they may not want to be called princess. So let's think differently about how do we really engage with our guests in a
First of all, pansexual, non-binary. I mean, dude, look. Okay, so you mean to tell me that Disney wants to go 50%, which, by the way, that was a report that came out earlier today. They want to go out 50% full-on woke. By the way, Disney does not just own Disney. You see, Disney, for the most part, is a kid's company. Okay, for the most part, it's a company designed for little children. Beauty and the Beast, of course. These right here movies were Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, The Little Mermaid. They were targeted towards little girls, okay? Aladdin, of course. When I was a little kid, of course, I grew up at the age where Disney had the animated movies. I had an older sister who watched them from time to time. We had female cousins who would come over and watch it. I was forced to watch them. Of course, Disney has also made some movies that were live action. Very, very good movies. One of my favorite movies of all time, Miracle, okay? Glory Road, underrated film. Very, very good. Miracle, by the way, greatest moment in American sports history. The 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. Greatest moment, in my honest to God opinion, in American sports history. And I'm a sports guy by nature. Okay? Disney's made a lot of very, very good films, made a lot of very good products. But you see, now they're in control of Marvel. They're in control of Fox itself. Not Fox News, but they're in control of Fox itself. They're in control of ABC. They're the ones spreading all this wokeness because they own all these companies now. ABC, ESPN, all these places, okay? So the thing is this right here. They're trying to actually influctuate, trying to infect the product with all this wokeness. Of course, this right here is not going to go over well, as I was explaining here momentarily. It should have never gotten this far, but the classrooms is where it's gone completely overboard. Okay, so you need to tell me that you want to be able to discuss your experiences with another LGBTQ member, your boyfriend or whatever, or your non-binary alien partner, whatever the hell he or she is, which, by the way, is just a dude with mental problems who thinks he's a girl, basically Corporal Klinger. You want to be able to express that with 5- and 6-year-olds. This is a special level of sick, people, okay? By the way, go talk to Milo Yiannopoulos. He was gay at one time. He became straight, got saved, became a Christian. And he described it completely perfectly. He said that these people were not well. They were depressed. They were depressive. And it's part of the reason why their suicide rate is so high, which I will talk about again momentarily here shortly. So yes, Disney is basically infecting the entire, they want to infect the entire society with all this wokeness. Now guys, Disney owns a lot, so you got to think about things before you decide to boycott anything. Now let me give you another example before we go any further. Marvel is owned by Disney, okay? Marvel's quality in film has gone down drastically, okay? The MCU, in my opinion, went downhill the minute Black Panther came out. Black Panther was not a bad movie, but it was not worthy of an actual Oscar. You see, the wokeness began to take off then, and the product of the films ever since have actually gone downhill. Endgame was good, Infinity War was good, Spider-Man No Way Home was good. I mean, Spider-Man movies are actually pretty good, but every other product that they've made is has designed to actually hinge on the level of woke. They're pandering to only certain portions of the audience. Okay, only about 6% of this country is even an alphabet community, but yet Marvel wants to include gay characters so that way it can appeal to that section of the audience. Well, at the end of the day, what's going to happen is that the core audience and the main people who are watching, and by the way, these movies, by the way, are aimed towards kids. Parents are just going to cut them off, and the next thing you know, you're going to be without much of a product or much of a profit. Now, guys, really, another thing that happens is this right here. Now, me personally, I've never been to Disney World, but you take a look at the whole thing where we're going to take gender out of language and try to make people feel more inclusive. You guys saw that stuff right there. Disney World tickets are through the roof, okay, and people carry their kids to Disney World. I myself have, I would go to Disney World probably with another with another girl. I don't have any kids, none that I know of, anyways. I wouldn't be going by myself. I would only go if I had my girlfriend or a date with me. Okay, but the price of everything is getting too high. I mean, with inflation going up, the price of the tickets is only going to get higher. And after a while, with a very, very bad economy going on, people are going to say, you know what, this crap right here is just too woke. We don't want to go there anyways. You see, Disney's going to be losing money there. And then, of course, after a while, the only people who can actually go to a Disney theme park are the liberal elites. I mean, that right there is what I think they're really and truly gaining. So at the end of the day, the only thing you're going to get is white suburban elites who, by the way, get bored with the product anyway. They're going to cut it off, and they're the only ones who can afford the ticket. So Disney's not only infecting our society with this wokeness crap, but they're also killing themselves at the same time. They don't realize exactly how bad they're killing themselves, if you guys are kind of picking up on what I'm saying. So this entire thing is all this wokeness. Even though it looks bad now, I want you guys to keep a bit of a positive head here. I want you guys to think about it in a glass half full. Fight back, keep the crap out of the classrooms, put your foot down, don't let it infect our kids, and simply cut the product off. Now, guys, before we talk about boycotts, there's a point that I got to make. And here's the point, okay? This is where I'm going to end the video at. Back in 2012, when I was going to school to be a paralegal, I was in a classroom. My two main teachers, they were actually Democrats. The older lady was more of a blue dog Democrat. She also called this too. She said she felt it was going to go a little bit too far. The other teacher, by the way, I still got a good relationship with. Run to her all the time. She's very much liberal. She's not happy with Joe Biden. I'll put it that way there. But she's not. But she just, I guess she's a little bit oblivious to what's going on with everything that's going on in Florida. It was explained to me, I learned this a long time ago, that the problem that conservatives had back then is they didn't know how to fight. Okay, let me break it down for you. I was watching a lot of Fox News at that time, and Sean Hannity used to have focus groups. They were very, very rare, but he would have them, okay? And one of the main people who would show up to those focus groups was a former Democrat pollster and campaign manager, Pat Caddell. Pat Caddell, by the way, was a Democrat who did not vote for Barack Obama. He did not like Barack Obama. He felt the Democratic Party, also Neil Schoen as well. They're two of the only Democrats I actually trust when they go on the news. Pat Caddell, of course, passed away a couple of years ago, but he was smart. He actually knew what he was talking about. He got up and he said, look, here is your problem. Here is your problem. You guys don't know how to fight. You people don't know how to fight. If you don't like Bill Maher insulting the literal hell out of you, then what you need to do is, instead of coming out here and complaining about it, you need to call HBO and tell them, I want that crap cut off. They will more than likely not cut that off, and then you say, look, I am going to end the subscription, okay? One person, gone, that's it. But next thing you know, 1 becomes 10, 10 becomes 100, 100 becomes 1,000, 1,000 becomes 100,000, 100,000 becomes a million eventually becomes 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 million. After a while, people are going to say to themselves, why the hell are people unsubscribing from this show? You see, this is not a boycott, okay? This is not a boycott. A boycott's when you actively go out there and say, oh, I'm going to boycott this product, oh, we're done. That makes the product rare, and people jump to the product and not to your movement. You see, there's a better way of doing this. The better way of doing this is just simply unsubscribing. If you want to unsubscribe from Disney, go right ahead. After a while, Disney's going to be like, okay, well, why the hell are our subscriptions going out? Well, wait a minute. We have to include better packages. Wait, okay, Hulu? People are unsubscribed from Hulu. Oh, God, now we got to raise the price. Now we got to put people in the contracts. People are going to say, I don't want to be in no goddamn contract to watch this friggin' woke bullshit. I don't want to have to pay this much money a month for this crap right here to be aimed at trying to pollute my kids' minds. Cut this crap off. I'm not going to do it. You see, after a while, Disney will then start holding focus groups and start asking people, Why did you unsubscribe from my product? Well, we unsubscribed from your product because every time I turned around, you had to have 16, 17 different genders out of 10 different characters up there in your product. And quite frankly, I didn't want my kid watching. I want my child to watch motherfucking Cinderella. I want my kid to watch Three Musketeers. I want to watch friggin' Davy Crockett. I want to watch that right there. I want to watch friggin' Black Adam have sex with friggin' Green John. Okay, you guys see what I'm saying? Pat Goodell was on to something. He was saying the best thing you could do is call up and complain, and if they don't do for you, cut it off. Don't worry, it's contagious. After a while, people will cut it off. You'll be at a party with somebody and say, hey, man, did you see what happened on Bill Maher the other night? No, I canceled my HBO subscription. Why not? Well, dude, I'm getting kind of tired of him ragging on Christians. Oh, man, you're just being a wuss. Well, next thing you know, 2 other guys at the party are going to be like, you know, man, that motherfucker really truly is a serious asshole. So we decided to unsubscribe too. After a while, it becomes contagious, and after a while, the company begins to lose money. And after that right there, they start going to focus groups to try to save the product, and you tell them to their face, look, man, this shit right here went downhill the minute you did this crap here. I unsubscribed. And they may even ask the question, so, sir, how is it that you want us to fix this problem? Don't put the woke bullshit back on television again. If you do that right there, people will begin to have a course correction, and then they may eventually get rid of it. Now, guys, like I said before, I'm really a glass half full kind of guy. Take that advice right there. That is how you handle these people, and sure enough, their behavior will eventually change. Guys, John Claymore, if you like this content, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign off in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.